What's up, YouTube? I just got top 4 at my League Cup with Lugia, a deck you thought was dead in this current format, but you are wrong. Lugia is very much alive, and I played it today. I don't know why I did, but I got top 4 at my League Cup, and before you think, oh, there's probably like 6 people at that League Cup, hold up, guys. It was a 48 Master League Cup, so I had to actually pull my own weight and get where I did to be, and I ended up going into top 4, lost in top 4, but this is the list that I played. Let's talk about it a little bit. Why I played the cards that I did, and then we'll jump into my match breakdown. So if you guys are here and new to the channel, I'm Rahul. I'm a competitive TCG player. I've already qualified for the World Championships, so we're having a little bit of fun this season. But besides that, I will get you guys to Worlds and teach you everything about Pokemon as we're moving forward. So Lugia Archeops is considered a little bit dead in this format. People aren't really playing it. Miraidon's a terrible matchup. Concede that one for sure. Things of that nature. And so Lugia is a little bit on the decline. So why did I decide to bring it? Well, my local area doesn't really play Miraidon. There's like 2 people who play Miraidon at my locals, and everyone else really plays Giratina and Gardevoir, which I think are slightly favorable matchups on both ends. So maybe I could like deal with both is what I thought. I thought, you know, people are cutting Screamtail from Gardevoir, so I have a better chance of playing into the Gardevoirs with no Screamtail, kind of put the pressure on them, and the game with Drapion, they can't Screamtail my Archeops, so that stays alive, and I get to play the game the way I want to play a little bit. And then Giratina should be heavily favored because I got the Snorlax. If I can just make it through the path turn on like turn 2, V-Guard makes it so they can't 280 my Lugia early, so Lugia can take a prize for a free prize somewhere. I can 220 something, yada yada, etc. So that was my logic. I thought maybe, hey, we'll try to cheese my local scene. It's good to read your local scene as you're playing. Obviously, if you're someone who is newer to the game, stick to your one deck and just kind of ride it. You can learn the game that way, but I just had to play all those stuff. We're playing 3 copies of Snorlax for Giratina and other Lost Box variants because I expected some of those. We have Luxray in here because Luxray is in combination with Reversal, really good against Charizard to take out the Pidgeot. Pretty much that. Like that's like the real reason, honestly. Cobalion also helps for the Charizard matchup because we need 1 less energy to attack with Weirdier into the Charizard, which actually makes a huge difference because that 1 extra energy could be what decides the game at the very end of the game, and also it like kind of I guess comes in handy against Moon a little bit, but not too much. Like I think the Moon matchup is like fine anyway, like you don't have to care about doing all that stuff. So yeah, I played 4 copies of Boss in addition to the Pokemon that I did play. I chose to play Radzard plus Luminous because I just figured it'd be a great way to close out games. If like C-Power or something else popped up, or it's just a way to close out the game. I didn't really use it, and Radzard might have been more of a liability than a help, but I just figured it'd be a cool tech conclusion to have. I played 4 copies of Boss because all I really want to do is after turn 1 is just Boss every turn. 3 copies of Research because, you know, Research is pretty good, but I don't want to discredit a lot of the energy, so maybe Research isn't necessarily the best a lot of the time. 2 copies of Burnett, which I liked quite a bit. I wanted to, if I could go back, I'd probably cut a Research for a 3rd Iono. But besides that, 2 Burnett was really, really good because it's best of 1, so I don't want to prize Burnett and lose the game. And I only have 1 Luminion, so I'm opting to take like a Luminion out of the old version of Lugia to play another copy of Burnett to just have more outs to get to turn 2 chops. We have 2 Iono as well. I think that's pretty stable. If I could go back, like I said, I think 3 Iono over 3 Research is a little bit better in this metagame, or with this deck, because you kind of can't afford to discard all your energies. You have no way to put them back into the deck. 4 Ultra, 4 Capturing Aroma, and 2 Nest is pretty stock standard, I think. There's 2 Collapsed and 2 Massite Goza, pretty standard stadium outs. 4 Jet, 4 Double Turbo, and 3 Gift is pretty standard as well. The 1 V-Guard. Obviously, I think like if you don't play Reversal Luxray, or you choose to play like something else in those slots, you could make another spot for another Therapeutic Energy or a 2nd Luminous Energy to just use your Zard a little bit more efficiently. But I opted to just kind of be a little bit greedy across the board and play all of these different tech options in one list just to have fun with it. So round 1, I go up into I just came back from the cup. How did I already forget? Okay, I forgot my round 1. That's crazy. But round 1 I feel like wasn't too difficult. I got pretty much the ball rolling as is and like, you know, won the game. Game 2 I remember vividly because I had a Serena EX, which is like kind of a fake deck. But Serena is very scary if you don't know. It does use Icicle Drop to put one of your Pokemon 30 HP or less, and then that Pokemon can't attack because they're probably playing multiple copies of Panic Mask. My deck does not play a way to deal with Panic Mask, so I was able to get the turn 2 Lugia and knock out, I think, a Bounce Suite, and then I was met with an Icicle Drop on the 2nd turn for my opponent, so my Lugia became completely useless immediately, which then I pivoted into a Mew EX and went and used genome hacking to copy Icicle Drop to leave it at 30 HP as well. He was able to knock out my Mew. I was now behind on prizes. I played Luxray down. I was able to knock out the active with Snorlax. I went Luxray, reversal that turn, retreat my Mew that I already had, or Mew was already gone. So I was able to, I think, attach to Arcaps with the ability, retreat ability the other one to Luxray, attach somewhere for hand onto like a Snorlax or something, boss up the benched Serena, take that one out. Um, this one gets knocked out. My Luxray, I knock out the active. I get Iono to 1. But Gift Energy, my opponent forgot about Gift Energy proccing when he knocked out my active Snorlax. So I'm able to draw up to 7. I slam the Word Ear, and I have exactly enough energy to close out the game with the Word Ear. So it was kind of a nail biter, and I guess I could have won with boss because I still had like 2 more bosses left, and I was down to 1 prize card. So if I found a boss in like the Bidoof or the Sneasler or the Brute Bonnet, I win the game also, with just any attack. So I had like I think 2 turns to do so, but it was a little bit of a spooky matchup. Round 3, I go up against Giratina. Giratina was pretty standard. I had like the board completely set up in a way where like I wasn't. Oh no, sorry. Round 3 was Zard. Round 1 was the Giratina, which I just remembered. Round 3 was Charizard, where I went second. I had to go second, so he won the flip and went first. He set up pretty well. I didn't read the wind. I left Word Ear in the active, which kind of sucked on turn 1. He bossed up my Lugia, Candy Zard. So he has Candy Zard, Charmander on bench, Pidgey on bench, knockout active, or not active, 180 active. I go set up my board. I get to turn 2 double Archeops into the discard. I go get the Archeops. I attacked for 200 into the active. He knocks out my active. I go reversal Luxray, bosses Pidgeot, which is now in play. Take 2. He kills my Luxray. I knock out active with Snorlax. I'm at 2 now. He is at 3. He Ionos, knocks out active with Zard, going to 2. And then I go boss Snorlax to win game on a Luminion. But I also had enough energy in deck with Word Ear if I was able to find the Word Ear, and I think I had like a Nest Ball or something in hand as well, or with Jet, to go ahead and do that at the very end of the game as well. So I like had outs to close out the game, but at 2-2, it is a little bit spooky when they don't have a Pidgey up, but they still have like Heavy Boss, and you also play Heavy Boss. So it's kind of like it's a game of chicken at the very end. Round 4, I end up going up against Roaring Moon. My opponent has a pretty rough start. Like honestly, just like couldn't find energies in the first couple turns. So I'm literally I like was able to Thumping Snore into a Moltres. I'm able to use Mew to copy Calamity Storm to knock out a Moon. He knocks out my guy. I end up like using it Thumping Snore into the active again, and then like I end the game on a boss kind of thing. But rough start from them. Then I am able to double ID into top 8, and then in top 8 I play against Gardevoir, and then game 1 is like a grind fest where we're both just like going through resources. He ends up prizing his last boss, which is the game decider, but I also prize Reversal and Drapion as my last 2 prizes, and if I take either of those earlier, I think I can win the game based on just how the game is trading. Game 2 is another back and forth where my opponent only has 1 Refinement Gardevoir or Curlia in the entire deck, and like I feel pretty confident that I'm going to be able to win this game. But they're able to get like a pretty good like a counter catcher, kill my Drapion, set up the board that way, and I just have no response when that happens. And I'm sitting there like, man, like Drapion just went down. I have no way to kill this Gardevoir. What do I do? So I just run out at the very end of Steam. And then game 3 comes down to the wire, where I think this one was kind of a gimme for me. Like I feel like I shouldn't have won this, but my opponent's turn 0. He takes a very long turn 0. He takes 2 prizes. Now we're 2-2. I'm not going to attack at this point because I think there's no point because countercatcher or boss will get procced. So my game plan was either just to Iono and try to look for a boss the following turn on Gardevoir and then take the game that way. But because he countercatcher my Drape on the turn prior to go to 2, and then he did a bunch of stuff, and he used Rod but didn't put back Manaphy, and he had Rod plus Artisan to put Manaphy back into play. So I'm able to end the game with just a boss onto Greninja, copy the Mew, or copy it with Mew, and kill a Ralts and a Mew I believe. So like there was like a lot of small things he did on that last turn that I think he could have done better, but he was really focused on just hitting the guard EX because he needed to play the game that turn. And if he doesn't hit the guard EX, he loses anyway. So I think he was very tunnel visioned on like I need to thin my deck to get to this point in the game, but he like forgot about the one thing that I had left. So a little bit of an unfortunate turn for my opponent, but it was a free gimme for me. So I take that and we moved into top 4. Let's see how much more we can do with it. Top 4, I played against Gibby, who's playing Tina. Game 1, he has me under path the entire game. Kills 2 Lugias before I can even play the game really. But both sacrifices left Gibby with very few resources, so I'm able to actually do a ton of damage with Snorlax. I get down to 1 attack left to win the game, and he's able to, off the Iono, find the Jet energy for game, like the last energy he needs for game. But he has like a 7-card deck when I own him to like 1, so I knew it was coming. Game 2, I just set up, get the Stadium Bump turn 2, 220, kill his Tina, get like kill active, game ends. Like basically like I'm completely untouched. And then game 3, I'm once again under path, and he gets to turn 2 7 with boss onto my Lugia. Going first this game finally for him, and he knocks me out, and I'm left in a position where I have nothing left for me. So I can't really win the game from this point in time. And yeah, I pick it up and I'm home now. So got a bunch of packs here from the store. Might open them. We'll see. Might just put them into a corner and see what happens in like 10 years. But thank you guys for watching. Lugia is not dead. I'm going to play more funny decks at my cups and have a good time until rotation happens. So peace out, guys. Thank you for the support as always.